Also of Hotels Live Hospitality Talk Show. I hope all is well. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, September 13th. You know what? I'm trying something new today, and hopefully I've been crossing my fingers. Anything I can cross, I've been crossing because I want to make sure this works. So I'm streaming to two things today, two platforms today. Normally, I only stream to YouTube, and then I do the replay on LinkedIn. But today, I said, you know what? I'm gonna try this again. It's been about a year absent that I was on Restream. Restream is a platform that allows you to broadcast to multiple platforms. So in this case, it would be two platforms. So I see Mike McManus on, and I believe he's on LinkedIn. So that means it is at least going to LinkedIn, right? So, but I think it's on YouTube as well. I'm not set up for YouTube. Well, I am, but let me just see if I can do this. So bear with me. So, but anyway, hopefully it comes through on the comments as well because for some reason some platforms don't allow the comments to come, to come through. But I see Lonnie Wolf in the house, and I believe he's on YouTube. So yes, so this is great. Okay, so now I'm happy, right? Because I was kind of anxious at first and nervous as heck, to be honest with you, because I'm like, what if this doesn't work? And I didn't normally you would want to test something, right? The normal thing would be to test it, but I say, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. You know, I'm just gonna have faith and just go for it. Have faith in what you do. Anyway, I didn't mean to, break into songs, but and my glasses are not fitting. I have an eye appointment this coming Thursday because I'm getting me some new glasses. Okay, um I'm gonna get some new glasses anyway. So but anyway, hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for the people that are on the podcast. As I'm doing the show live, the live hospitality talk show, actually a podcast is being recorded too, and so my roadcaster is the one that helps me with that, and I'm going to show you who the roadcaster is in a second, as soon as I can get my glasses um, working. I guess I don't know, but yeah, let me show you who helps me. So this is the roadcaster, right? And I talk about the roadcaster all the time, but the roadcaster actually helps me. It records the podcast, so you can see that big red button right there. Um, so I want to give a applause to the roadcaster. So I would just push the button there, right, and that applaud for the roadcaster, okay, or anyone else that happens to be on. So my intro, my exits are right there. My scary music, Halloween's coming up, so you gotta have scary music, right? Uh, Crickets if you want. You got people laughing, and any other songs that you want to pre-record it and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I use, right? That's my handy dandy sidekick. So I'm able to do the show by myself because the roadcaster helps me. Okay, so I appreciate you, roadcaster. Thank you so much, roadcaster Pro. I may throw in there, but Muhammad says, "Hello, how's the weather?" The weather is about. I'm here in LA, so weather is about 75-ish, between 75 and 80, I would say, somewhere around there. I was out there a little while ago, and it became a little toasty for me. So I said, you know what? I'm going in now. I'm starting to perspire. So, Muhammad, where are you located from? So, people that happen to be chiming in, I appreciate you. In fact, this show is about interaction, so I do appreciate that. Anyone that's there, I know Lonnie's in Florida, but please feel free to let me know where you're located. I always like to know, where in the world are you people? Okay, Muhammad, where are you located? Mike McManus, where are you located? Like I said, I know Lonnie is he's in Florida, somewhere in Florida. So I know where he is. But Mike says, great job on Friday. Thank you so much. And I believe you're referring to being on Glenn Houseman and Craig Sullivan's show Friday night Audit. I appreciate them for allowing me to come on. In fact, that's the first thing that I have to do is thank Craig Sullivan and Glenn Houseman for Friday Night Audit. So I was a guest on there last Friday. They're gracious enough to allow me to come on and talk about a little bit what I do. They asked me some questions about task force and all that kind of stuff. And, when you do task force assignments, the director of sales and marketing or general manager, I've done both of them. And, just the interesting part about doing task force. And in those situations is perfect. Okay, I remember they asked me a question, but and they made a comment like, there's no perfect situation in a in a hotel. You may think outside looking in, you may think that this is maybe some operations run better than others, but none of them are perfect, right? So, and sometimes you got to put your little spin on it too. Um, but anyway, that's another subject or topic for another time. But anyway, but I want to thank you once again. I want to thank Craig and Glenn for allowing me to come on. That was fun. Industry news. What's going on in the industry? Oh, first and foremost, back up. Hold the phone. I need to congratulate somebody. I just, I get all my news from LinkedIn, right? So I see who's been promoted, and if I know these people, I have to give these people a shout out, right? So, congrats to Myrna Levert Vasquez. Well, we go by Myrna, right? But I say Myrna. Okay, so Myrna Levert Vasquez, she's doing account manager, venue sourcing, contract negotiations, event and meeting planner with Canvas meetings and incentives. So congratulations to Myrna. She has stepped away from the industry for a minute, and just when you thought you were out, you got sucked back in. Okay, so there you go, Myrna. I knew you'd be back. You know what I mean? I just didn't know when and what at capacity, but I knew that you would be back. So congratulations. I'm glad you're back. And the important thing, or the significant thing about Canvas meetings and incentives, is that it's 100% owned and operated by women. So good choice, Myrna. I'm selecting them to go and work with them. That's a good choice, and I can appreciate that. So congratulations again to Myrna and to Canvas meetings and incentives. So that's what we do here on air with Russell Hotels. We want to make sure we recognize people, especially people that I know, right? And my glasses they're really bothering me, but especially people that you know. You always want to give them a shout out and congratulate them when you can. Okay, so whenever you see Myrna, you talk to Myrna, you let her know that Russell of Hotels send her a shout out. She said she listens to the show and she appreciates the information that I give. I'm not sure if she's on here now, but I do thank her for listening to the show, and I appreciate everyone else that listens and supports the show. So after all these times, 175 episodes. So thank you so much. I do appreciate that. A LinkedIn user says, "Great job on." Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. On Friday night, FNA. Okay, see, you made it when you just use an acronym. Okay, you just use 3 letters to talk about your show. You know what I mean? To name the show, FNA. Like I'm supposed to know what FNA means, but it's with Glenn, so I figured it's Friday night audit, right? FNA with Glenn. Okay, all right. Maybe one day I can, OAW. I don't know what would it be on air, just ROH. Listen to. Have you listened to ROH? What is ROH? Russell Hotels. Oh, okay. You made it when you have acronyms. Okay, I don't have an acronym yet, so hopefully I get there. Lonnie says IHI September. You know what? I'm about to say that. 11th through 17th, right? Getting lit up, and I'm loving it. Housekeeping is the heartbeat within the period. Yes, I believe that as well. So getting into some industry stuff. It's International Housekeeping Week. Actually, it started on the 11th, goes through the 17th. So what are we doing out there? I know Lonnie is advocating, and if you hear anything in the background, there's some work being done at my neighbor's house next door, so you may hear a saw because I can hear it. So maybe you hear it as well. So please, I apologize in advance for that. I didn't know it was going to be that loud. I would have closed my door, but I don't have. It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of thing. If I keep my door closed, I have to have the fan running, so you'll hear the fan, right? And if I keep the door open, you may hear something from next door. So I think I'd rather have the door open than be in here sweating profusely. So please bear with me. So, but anyway, International Housekeeping Week. I've talked to a couple of hotels yesterday. They're doing some. Most hotels are doing some good things. There's one that they're trying to do, instead of having International Housekeeping Week or just celebrating the housekeepers, they're trying to do an all-employee thing, or they are doing. They're not trying. And I said, well, that takes away from what this week is about, right? So, and housekeepers know this. I mean, they're trying to lump everything in together. I mean, you can do that another time. I mean, this is dedicated to the housekeepers and how they bust their butts damn near 24/7 for your hotel. Okay, so you can do an employee thing next month or in 3 weeks. Okay, you can do that anytime. But this week, and this is, we know these dates in advance, right? We didn't just come up with it and just happen. Okay, we're going to do International Housekeeping Week today or start on the 11th to the 17th. Now we knew this in advance. Okay, so but anyway, at least they're doing something, right? So, but I appreciate all the hotels that are doing things. Some of them are doing, each department is taking a time to do lunch for them or breakfast or doing something fun, some games, things like that. Just showing, just acknowledging, appreciating, and celebrating. That's what it's all about, right? So it's just kind of a department that, not that they're forgot about, but they're, behind the scenes, if you will, and they make things happen, right? They make your hotel going, make your hotel keep going. Okay, so especially when it comes to cleanliness and turning your rooms over and all that kind of stuff. So acknowledge them, appreciate them, and celebrate them. So there you go. And thank you, Lonnie. I know you do your thing, and Lonnie's gonna be on the show in a couple of weeks. I think, I'm not sure if he sent me dates or not, but Lonnie's gonna be on here because he has a lot to cover. He's been on before, but we're gonna do it again, and it's gonna be fun again, and it's gonna be very informative. So, but yeah, thank you so much, Lonnie, for doing what you do. And I can see, yes, I am live on LinkedIn as well, so I appreciate that. In fact, I'm gonna look at myself. Oh, I see. Oh, that was Jim Schick. Okay. Let me just let people know that are on LinkedIn. Okay, I couldn't see the notes. It'll just tell me that it's a LinkedIn user. It doesn't tell me exactly who that person is. But now that I just opened it up, it tells me that Jim Schichter. Okay, so Jim Schichter, my old, CFO, CEO, COO, with Broughton Hotel. So thank you so much, Jim. It's been a while since we've talked, Jim. So we gotta reach out and reach out and touch. We gotta reach out and talk. So I owe you a call. All right. So, but thank you so much for chiming in, and thank you for listening to FNA. Okay, with Glenn. Okay, and like I said, when I get to that point, if people, you listen to ROH. What's ROH? Russell of Hotels. Oh yeah, I listen to ROH all the time. It's a great source of information. That's what I just can't wait to get to that acronym stage, right? Because in the industry, in our industry, hospitality industry, we are big on acronyms, like SGMP and ADRs and RevPAR and FNA and ROH. So we're big on that stuff. So I just want to be where I have an acronym. Okay, so that's what I've been working for, and I'm going to keep doing this show until I get the acronym out there. So, and Lonnie says, I celebrate Housekeeping Week 365 and will never stop. Cleanliness, safety, and presentation wins. Yes, thank you so much, Lonnie. We appreciate that. Lonnie's the real deal. So please, if you don't follow Lonnie on social media, please do so, and start with LinkedIn. And I believe he's on YouTube. He has to be on YouTube because that's what he's listening to that now. So, job search. Okay, now I'm jumping around today, and I just added this. Do you guys, when you're looking for a new job, and this came up because a colleague of mine called me, which a lot of colleagues do when they're looking for a job and they have questions about certain things or who's hiring, that kind of thing. And a lot of times I do know who's hiring because I get the inside information from people. But she'd asked me for, do I know anyone that's hiring? Because she's ready to move forward, and a lot of times things aren't like they seem or what they seem when you take a job, right? So do we look at TripAdvisor? You know how TripAdvisor is for people that are staying in hotels. They want to stay at a hotel. Maybe they've never stayed in this area, this destination, or this specific hotel before. And they say, you know what, I'm going to look at the reviews, the customer or guest reviews, and see what they have to say. Do we look at that, like, say, as a general manager or front office manager or sales manager or director of sales and marketing, whatever, or even a housekeeping manager? Just to say just managers totally in hotels. Do we look at this and see exactly what they're saying about this hotel that I'm thinking about going to work? Okay. And it's not necessarily about what people are saying, because no hotel is perfect. People can say anything they want to say on some of these platforms. Okay, we know that. But if there's a common theme where guests are complaining about the same thing, more than likely where there's smoke, there's fire, and you should believe that, right? But it's not about that, because, like I said, people are going to complain. That's just how it is. My concern is, if I was looking at TripAdvisor, is how the managers are responding to the negative comments. Okay, were those comments, were they, if they're going back and forth, like, okay, we'll take care of this, are the managers attentive to that question or that issue? Are they concerned about it? And you'll know by the responses that they're giving. So I'm more concerned about the response than what the issue is, okay? Because, like I said, there's always going to be issues. There's always going to be some things that happen. They didn't enjoy their stay 100%, and sometimes hotels fall short. That's okay, but it's about the response time. Are they waiting days before they respond? Are they responding ASAP, as soon as possible? Does it seem like they're rectifying that situation, or is the situation just festering and keep going, and just a bunch of comments going back and forth between the guest and a manager? Okay, those are the things that I would look at. I follow the OTA reviews, always very important. Always respond with eloquence. Yeah, you always want to respond, but what I'm saying is that in your job search, you want to know what you're getting yourself into when you're going to a new hotel, is what I'm saying. And so make sure, of course, like my colleague called me and asked me if I knew of any hotel. So if there's a hotel that was open, there was an opening, like say I knew there was a hotel that had an opening for whatever position she's looking for, I would say, yeah, I know, and I know that hotel, right? And she goes, what do you know about it? Do you know anyone there? So I would let her know that, would you work there? That kind of thing. She would ask me that, and I'm like, yeah, they have a pretty good operation, blah, blah, blah. I know the general manager and the current, director of sales or whatever, and I know how they are. So I know, for the most part, that hotel is, it runs pretty solid, that kind of thing. So, but if I didn't know that, or if I knew that there were some issues, of course, I would tell her, like, hey, there's some issues going on there, right? But if you check TripAdvisor, maybe there's some common stuff that's going on. So if we don't do our research on, like, say, looking at TripAdvisors, asking colleagues, maybe even doing just checking their website, because a website that's not changing like it should, it shouldn't just be a website and it's just there for the next 5 years, right? There should be new pictures coming in. There should be, some things that are going on, some excitement to the website. You'll know if it's just a bland website, meaning no comments are coming in, no changing of pictures, no changing of verbiage, that kind of stuff. People look at that stuff, right? So you have to have a fresh website. I'm not saying you got to change it all the time, but maybe once a quarter, change some things, change some photos, that kind of thing. So, with iPhones today, iPhones take just the pictures, the quality of the pictures is just as well as if you have a professional photographer come in. So I don't want to hear that, well, we get all these pictures. Yeah, I know you do. And I know you pay a lot of money, but iPhones, I have an iPhone 13, takes outstanding pictures. And in fact, the iPhone 14 is coming out. So I'm looking to get that too. But anyway, so, refresh your website and see what's going on, and see how much more traction you get because of that. I'm just saying, and make sure you keep your social media pages up to date. I see some social media pages on some hotels, they haven't posted in, 52 weeks. That's a whole year. Okay. So make sure things are active, and they're live, a lot of things are going on, a little excitement, because you never know who's looking. You never know who's watching that stuff. Lonnie says, and please don't respond with a generic reply. Many do. Spot on, Russell. FYI, a negative and untrue review, a guest can be held accountable. Yes. I agree. So that was just a little bit. I was just thinking about that the other day when this person had called me and asked me about a job, and I said, you know what? How do we look at jobs? How do we analyze, if this is a good fit for us? So anyway, 3 things I always mention: be intentional, make decisions, and take action on what's important to you. What does that mean? Well, what's important to you, right? And only you know what's important to you, but I'm saying be intentional there's three things: be intentional, be you, be represented. Because, and I'm taking this personal, right? My representation matters. So it matters that someone that looks like me does a show like this, or has the experience that I have in hospitality or hotel industry or tourism industry or non-meat eats or whatever that is. It's important to me that I'm intentional about what I put out, okay, in my content creating, and it's important that you see who it's coming from, okay. So that's what I'm trying to say, right? When I put out non-meat eats, like, you guys know I don't eat meat, right? So I'm a plant-based diet, okay. So it would be, if I always posted pictures of food is one thing, but pictures of food, of me eating food, that's something totally different, right? I want you to know that I eat non-meat eats, right? And I can't show that unless I show me, right? So that's what I mean by being intentional. Make sure people know who you are. Be you. I'm not trying to hide about who I am or who I represent, right? I'm not trying to hide that at all. I want people to see that, oh yeah, Russell Hotels, he eats non-meat eats, right? He loves his non-meat eats, and he's not afraid to talk about it, okay? And representation matters, especially when it comes to advertising, right? And I'm sweating a little bit, so I'm gonna wipe my brow. So I guess that's a trade-off for, well, the door is open, but I don't have the fan on. But anyway, that's another thing. So advertising, promotions, okay? People are more likely, if they see themselves in promotions and advertising, they're more likely to go to either that hotel, that restaurant, or whatever the promotion is, or whatever the product or service is, right? So if I don't see myself, someone that looks like me, doing certain things, I think maybe they don't go there, they don't frequent that place, they don't stay at that hotel, they don't go to that destination, or they don't eat that food. All that kind of stuff can run through your head. Not necessarily me, because I can care less what people think, but, and I'm going to go wherever I want to go, and I'm going to eat what I want to eat. But it does resonate with a lot of people, okay? So people are more likely to go somewhere where they feel they've been represented, okay? So, and I say this all the time because I see the lack of people that look like me in certain promotions and advertising, okay? So you shouldn't expect any more business if you don't. And maybe some brands don't care. Obviously they don't, because they don't show it. But I mean, and that's up to them. And if that's the stance they're taking, then that's the stance they're taking. But what I'm saying is, if you want to increase your business, make sure you show multiple people in certain things. And when I come to this part, when I'm talking about, be intentional, be you, be represented. Those are things that I'm talking about. Okay, those are, you kind of read through read between the lines, if you will. But I'm here to just to mention it. That's what it is. So there you go. So let's move forward. Hey, how to buy a hotel? Who knows how to buy a hotel? Who knows how to buy a hotel? Not a lot of people, right? But that's okay, because Miss Davon Reeves came up with a book that teaches you how to buy a hotel. If you ever wondered, I guess that cricket is going to keep going until I turn him off. So if for those new on the ROH show, Mr. Russell Upman is the real deal, 175 shows strong, to include a hospitality juggernaut. Thank you so much, Lonnie. I appreciate that. But yeah, so people may think that's just this is not the book. I'm sorry, that's somebody else's book. I got like 10 people's books that I bought over this last year. So Miss Davon Reeves, that's her book, How to Buy a Hotel. It's a roadmap to hotel ownership, tips to buying a hotel, location. You always hear that, right? Well, it's true, right? Where you locate, where's this hotel that you think about buying? Where is it located? Is it near traffic generator? What's a traffic generator? Like the freeway, a highway, amusement parks, movie theaters, business parks. I mean, that kind of thing. What is it near? It has to be near something. You don't want a hotel that's just in the middle of nowhere. The brand makes a huge difference. Is it one of the big three? But is it one that you've heard of before? And then hiring the right operator. Now, do you want to run it yourself, or do you want to hire a management company? There's tons of management companies out there that will say, hey, we can do it for you. But just remember this, not one management company fits all. Okay, just because there's a management company doesn't mean that's the right fit for you. Okay, there's tons of them out there. Some of them do, small hotels. Some of them do large hotels. Some do just, select service or limited service hotels. It just depends on what type of hotel you have. But I mean, you got to do your research, and the book teaches you how to do your research. So there you go. So Miss Davon Reeves, and did I mention Davon Reeves is 35 years old? Oh, I just did, I guess. Who's your best advocate? You're doing all these things. You got this, you got your show. You do things on social media. Who's your best advocate? Well, the best advocate should be you, right? Because if you're not excited about what you do, no one else is going to be. So you have to be your best brand advocate. You got to be the one doing the pom poms. Okay, so it starts with you, right? The brand starts with you. I don't care what brand you represent. People will buy you before they buy any product or service that you are selling or promoting. Okay, so just remember that the brand, you're your best brand advocate. Okay, and Lonnie says, Bad Boys Hotel Strong. A little joke between, yes. Lonnie's going to come up with a hotel for me, him, and Dylan, and it's going to be called Bad Boy Hotel. So there you go. So be on the lookout for Bad Boy Hotel. And please forgive me, as like I said, it's not a good thing. It's not a good situation in here, okay, when the fan's not running. But you know what? This is Hollywood, right? The show goes on. We don't worry about all that. So next, how do you increase your social media engagement? I always talk about this, right? Increasing social media engagement, because that's important, right? Especially if you're trying to, play this social media game or this content creating game, which everyone should be doing. Every business should be doing. They should have some type of online presence, and it needs to be updated on an ongoing basis, right? So first and foremost, consistency. One time, okay, I'm gonna post one time and I'm gonna get my message across. Well, that's not reality. So you have to be consistent. Just like 174 shows ago, I didn't say, well, I'm gonna do one show and everybody's gonna know what I do. No, it's consistency. I've been doing the show every week since January of 2019. Okay, I've been doing it every week since then. So I continue to do it. I did take 4 weeks off. Okay, I did take 4 weeks off. All right, because that doesn't add up. I know someone's on there saying, well, that doesn't even add up. That ain't 175 weeks. And you're right. I took about 4 weeks off, and then but I've been going consistent for the last, 2 years. So and even during COVID, okay, during the whole thing, I continued to go and evolve the show into basically what it is today. But it's consistency. So if I did it one time, you would never know who the heck I was. And remember, what's the average length of a podcast? When someone starts one, how many episodes does it go before people get disenchanted and say, you know what, this is not for me? 6. The number 6 is the average length of a podcast. Okay, there's a million or so podcasts out there, right? But not all of them are active. Okay, so when people say, oh, that space is already crowded, it's saturated. No, it's not, because everyone doesn't continue to do it. Everyone stops, not everyone stops, but there's a huge percentage of people that don't even get to 6 episodes, and they stop and they're like, well, hey, this is not for me, so continue the fight. Okay, continue 3 to 6 shows. Yeah, it's actually 6. So continue the show. There's enough space for everyone out here. Okay, because everyone has their own spin on what they're talking about. Everyone has their own network of people that would listen. So just continue. Don't give up. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But be consistent. That's what I'm saying. The next one is value. Make sure you're adding value to someone. Obviously, there's some kind of value because there's a couple people that are listening. So if I got like 3 people listening, there's value to somebody, right? You want to grow that. You want to grow on that. But yeah, so at least there's 4 people that are listening, okay, or watching. So I appreciate that. I take I don't take for granted that I have 4 people, right? So obviously I'm adding some value to someone. And that's what you want to do. You want to have consistency, add value, and the third one is be authentic or be you, right? If I wasn't being me, if I was trying to be someone else, no one would listen. The 4 people would be one person or maybe none. Okay, so make sure you be you. People are smart. They know who you are. They can do their research these days. They can see if Russell did work at 14 different hotels. They can see all that, right? They can see it. People don't like fake. Okay. Well, there's some people that do because social media is built on fake people. Okay, but hey, it is what it is. But that doesn't mean you got to fall for it, right? Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Okay, you don't have to fall for that, but just be authentic in everything that you do, right? So because people will know and people won't follow you. So once you know that consistency, value, and being authentic, what tools do you use? Well, I use Reels and Lives. Now, Reels are Instagram Reels that you do. They have more traction than the other things that I use. But the answer to Instagram Reels would be TikTok, on that end, and then what's the other one? YouTube Shorts, okay, and then now Facebook has Reels as well, right? Because Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same Mark Zuckerberg company. So I use Reels and I do lives. So I do the lives to support the Reels, and the Reels support the show. The show supports the lives. So it's like this vicious circle, right? That I do, right? So because I can't reach everyone. Everyone that doesn't watch the show. Okay, I only got 4 people watching the show, right? So, okay, so I have to rely. I reach more people on the Reels. Reels are basically it pairs videos with music. Sometimes the music is trending, and that's how people go viral because they select music that has been trending. Okay, and you can find trending music on Instagram pretty easy. It has a little arrow next to it, like a little down arrow next to the title of the song. That's how you can tell if it's a trending song. And you can use those songs, and normally you'll get more engagement or more reach than if it was just a regular song. And even sometimes, voices, just people talking, just like audio. It didn't have to be music; it can be audio, like someone saying, "Well, like James Earl Jones or something is narrating something," and sometimes they will pair that with a video, and sometimes that will be trending just because of the voice or whatever. But it's sometimes a hit and miss with that stuff. Although I use some trending music, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go viral. I'll tell you what. 2 weeks ago, I was I do this walk. I walk near LAX, right, and it's on the north side of the airport where you can see the planes come in. There's 2 runways over on that side, so you can see the planes come in and take off, right? So I videotape some of this stuff, right, with their raw sound, the planes coming in, planes leaving, right, and I posted it, right. I posted this one of what was it? It was a Korean airline coming in, a 747, right? You don't see a lot of 747s anymore. But anyway, 747 from Korea Air came in, and I put a caption that said, and I just happened to see some statistics about international travel is up 100% over last year, over 2021, right? So I posted that. I put that in the caption, international travel up over 100% compared to 2021. That's what I put in the caption, right? And then there's a picture of this plane coming in, landing, big 747, and I got like 5,000 views on that within 15 minutes. See, it just depends on what you're doing, but you got to be consistent about what you're doing, right? So, and it wasn't any music. It was just the sound of the rumbling of the plane coming in, okay? But you can see that it was Korean Airline, and it was just, and the caption went with the caption. So Instagram, they're pretty smart about what they do, how their algorithms are set up, right? Not anything is just going to go viral and all that. But for me, about 5,000 views and comments, that was kind of viral for me. So based on where you are, that determines if you're viral or not. Viral is not necessarily, oh, you got 1 million views, although, some get a lot of views or some get 1 million or whatever. But then that's it. Then you never get that ever again. But it's just how it works. It's just like rolling the dice. Okay. I don't think people consistently, unless you're a star or whatever, you don't consistently go viral. I mean, I watched like The Rock, Kevin Hart, those people have like over 150 million people that follow them, right? But if you look at their views and people likes, their likes are like between 1% and 3%. So that's really not a lot if you got 150 million people watching, right? So I mean, you got to put things in or keep them in perspective. You know what I mean? So yeah. So but anyway, let me get off of that one. Hiring. Who's hiring? And I got a couple. I just mentioned hiring a while ago, right? I have a couple people that are hiring. Hold on one second. I gotta get down here. Please bear with me. Pacific Hotel Group. They're looking for a corporate director of transient sales in their Irvine office. Highgate Hotels. They're looking for a sales director, and I think Highgate. This is in LA. These positions are in the greater LA area, and I think, and I heard this because Highgate Hotels they manage the Hotel Figueroa downtown, but I don't think this is the position I don't think that position is open. Those positions are open. I think they took over the Sheraton 4 Points in at LAX. That's what I think. So I'm thinking this is what these positions are for, right? So they're looking for Highgate Hotel, looking for a sales director and a director of revenue management, and I believe it's at the Sheraton 4 Points. Okay, so. But because if you go to Indeed, I think these are on Indeed.com, you'll see these positions posted, but it won't tell you the hotel, right? It'll just say LA. Okay, well, a little birdie told me that, this particular management company took over that hotel, the management company for that hotel. Okay, so you're finding this stuff out here with Russell Hotels, right? Because I got my ear to the ground. Okay, so any questions at all about these things, I mean, just give me a call or email me, russell@russellofhotels.com. I'll keep you in the loop, okay? Because that's what I do. And speaking of what I do, what do I do? Hospitality personality. That's one thing that I do. Personality is somebody that basically comes on and talks about, their experience within the hospitality space, right? On different medium platforms, right? So media platforms. This is a media platform. So I call myself a hospitality personality. I do the lives. I do this show. I do a couple other shows on Instagram and YouTube. And you'll see me do the lives all the time. So I have this show called What the Hell is on Fridays. I do daily lives on YouTube as well as Instagram. So, be on the look for those as well. So that's where the hospitality personality comes in. I'm a hospitality content creator. I do content creating for anyone, any industry, doesn't matter. But because I'm so close and so vested in the hospitality industry, that's why I call myself a hospitality content creator. Because most of the stuff I do is for the hospitality industry. Because I love the industry. So hey, that's what I do. And then I'm a hotel site selection specialist, which means just like Myrna got her new job, that's what she does. I assist companies and organizations with finding a site, help them select a site for their next meeting, their next retreat, the next convention, next group, whatever that is. A group is 10 rooms or more. I've done groups from 10. I've done groups all the way up to 650 rooms on peak. It just depends. And if one calls for 1,000 or more on peak, I'll do that as well. But in my experience, I've only done them up to about 650 on peak. So there you go. So, but yeah, so those are kind of things that I do. One thing I always ask every week, what are you doing to keep your brand relevant? So I talked about all the things that you can use, reels and postings, create content. What are you doing to keep your brand relevant? Because, and remember that the brand I'm talking about is you, okay? Because you may represent a brand, but it starts with you, okay? People will buy you. They're going to buy me before they buy any Russell of Hotel stuff that I'm selling, okay? Any stuff that I'm barking about, oh, Russell of Hotels, this and that. Well, they want to know what I do first. They want to know about me. Is he a nice guy? Because I'm the brand, right? I'm the brand that represents that brand, okay? So just remember that. So when I was at my last job, the Sheraton or the Sportsman's Lodge Hotel, people knew me, okay, that I worked there, but they knew me, right? So if they're going to utilize the hotel, they wanted to be comfortable with me. They wanted to make sure I could do the job for them, right? They can care less the name on the hotel. They just want to make sure Russell's going to take care of me. Whatever Russell's saying, it's true. Okay, so remember this: you're the brand before they get to the other brand. Okay, or you're the brand that represents the other brand. So a lot of people don't even think about it like that. They just say, "Well, I work for, whatever." Well, yeah, but people buy you. And I always tell people when they go with a certain company, they say, "Well, they're really I mean, you just represent that company, but they're buying you." Well, what do you mean? No, they're buying the name. No, they're not buying the name. If you were screwing people over and you work for company A, you think they would come to company A or come to you? No, they wouldn't. Okay, because you're screwing people over. So, but they look for you to do the right thing. It's all about branding, right? And branding is huge, and I don't think we give it enough credit, especially when it comes to your personal brand. People always hear that especially on social media. My brand this. Well, there's a lot of truth in that, but a lot of people don't think about it like that because we get caught up in who we work for. We don't get caught up in who we are and how we need to represent ourselves so people will come to you regardless of what brand you work for. Okay, so I worked at 14 different hotels, and I would say 10 of them were as a either sales manager or sales director, right? And there was a group of people that regardless if I was still in LA, no matter what hotel I went to, they would follow me. They didn't come because it was the brand. They came because of me, right? They came because the brand, Russell Edmond. That's why they came. So just remember that. When you leave one hotel, you go to another, and people are following you, it's because of you. It's not because he went to this brand. No, it's because of you. So don't give yourself more credit than what you do. The brand is you. Okay, boom. I'm not charging for that. That information. Okay. That one's free. That one's on me. All right. That one's on me. I shared this one last week. Now, these are quotes that I came up with. Okay, I just pulled from somewhere. I don't know where, but I pulled them. We're talking about social media, so I might as well almost end it with social media, right? In creating content, don't worry where other people have been. Just start where you are. Okay, so don't worry about if you're getting into this social media game or even the podcast game. Let's just say the podcast game. So this is creating content. Okay, people don't know this, but you talking, you can say one word, whatever that is. Hello, that's creating content. Okay, you may want to add some more stuff to it, but that is creating content, right? So when I started this show, I didn't get caught up on what other people were doing. Because if I did that, I never would have started on air with Russell of Hotels if I was concerned about where everyone else was in their journey in the podcast. Now, remember what I said, the average length of a podcast is 6, right? So don't get caught up in other people's stuff, okay? Just like if you're you're starting to travel, right? And you want to post your travel, every place that you go, but you keep seeing all your friends, they've been going to all these exotic places. Start where you are. So if you're in LA and you go downtown all the time and you want to show what downtown has to offer, that's what you do. Start where you are. Don't worry about where other people are or where their journey is taking them. Your journey is going to take you somewhere else, right? So start where you are and don't worry about the noise of someone else, okay? That's one thing I can say, that it didn't matter what other people were doing. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, okay? And that's just how I've always been, and hopefully that's how I always will be. But yeah, so in creating content or starting something that you haven't started before that other people have started, don't worry where other people have been. Just start where you are, okay? It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Because it is simple. Don't get caught up in other people's stuff, okay? They did their stuff the way they wanted to do it. You do it the way you want to do it. Okay, so and that's free too, right? So that advice is free. That's me. And we're almost done here. See, one thing that I did, I said, what can I get rid of? I purged some things before today because the show was going over an hour. Like the last show I did was an hour and 20 minutes. Like I shouldn't be doing a show 120 minutes. I should be trying to keep to an hour. So that's what I'm trying to do moving forward. I'm trying to keep this to an hour because I want more people to watch it and listen, right? So if it's over an hour, they see that like, well, hell, I don't have an hour for this, but maybe I have an hour. Maybe I don't have an over an hour. Maybe I got about 50 minutes to an hour. Okay, so that's where I'm trying to. That's where I'm trying to stay. Okay, so we're at the end. Purpose. Know why you do what you do. Okay, if you're working as a director of sales at a hotel, why are you doing that? Okay, if I'm doing a podcast, why am I doing this podcast? I do this podcast because I think there's a need for people or for people to look like me to do a podcast to talk about maybe bring a different spin on hospitality or what hospitality means to me, right? And I'll have some people come on. They can talk about their journey within the space because I always say this, no two people got in this industry the same way. Okay, some people came through the front door, some people came through the back door. I came through the side door. You know what I mean? So it just depends. Some went to college, some worked their way up. Some people started bellman, worked their ways up to GMs, to VPs, and all that. And I know stories that has happened, right? So it doesn't matter where you came from. We're all here. Like I said, front, back, side door. Doesn't matter. We all got here. We're all doing some amazing things, right? So, and I like people to come on to talk about how they got to where they are, right? Because you never know who's coming behind them, right? And hopefully there are people coming behind. Hopefully we're grooming people, new people to come and take our places, right? Because we ain't going to be here forever. Okay, so there you go. So know your purpose, passion. Either you have it or you don't. Okay, that's it. And if you don't have the passion for what you're doing, you need to do something else. Okay, find something else to do. Whatever that is, you need to find something else to do. Perseverance. Don't give up. Continue to move forward and swerve when you need to. Okay, so swerving is different than pivoting. Okay, so people use that P word, right? I don't use the P word. I use the S word. It's called swerving. Okay, and there's a difference. Okay, I'm gonna explain to you what the difference is real quick. Pivot, you're already in it. Okay, whatever mess is going on around you, you're in it, and you're just, what am I gonna do? I'm pivoting back and forth. Swerving. You see some issues in the horizon, and you swerve around to miss it. Okay, you're already prepared for something that's going to come up, right? So you foresee this thing happening, or foresee that something's going to happen. You didn't know it was going to be that, but you foresaw that something may happen. So you basically are able to swerve and not pivot because you prepared yourself for what crap is coming up, right? So that's the difference. Okay, so people don't even know that, but that's the difference. So that's it. I appreciate you guys joining. Follow me on LinkedIn at Russell Edmond. Yeah, Russell Edmond is my real name. Follow me on Russell Edmond, and then I'll also at Russell of Hotels because I do have 2 pages on LinkedIn or 2 accounts on LinkedIn. IG, follow me. Instagram at Russell of Hotels. YouTube at Russell of Hotels, and Twitter at Russell of Hotels. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me at russellofhotels.com. Lonnie says, 175 shows strong, another great show. Thank you so much, Lonnie. I appreciate that. So you guys remember that this is an interactive show, okay? I take my time to read the comments, okay, because the comments are important. That's maybe a little different than some other shows. I want the comments. I want to see them. I want to make sure I acknowledge people that are making comments. And if you have questions, I'm here to answer those questions. So you guys have a great day. I thank you guys so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotel. We'll see you next time for 175. Peace.
Thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. Please tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. as we talk to other hospitality professionals. Your feedback is important to Russell. Feel free to email him at russell@russellofhotels.com with any questions or suggestions. Until next time, try not to be a person of success. Rather, become a person of great value.